We have discussed about the three different thicknesses: displacement thickness, then momentum thickness, and energy thickness. And I have shown you how to derive the expression for displacement thickness delta star. Yesterday, due to some preoccupied tension, I was not able to explain the momentum thickness derivation. So here it is. Now let us consider the momentum in the presence of boundary layer. So momentum is always given as a product of mass and velocity. Now here mass can always be written as mass density times volume. Now what is mass density? Mass density will always be given as a product of, mass is always given as a product of mass density rho and volume. So if I take a small element of thickness dy, right, and its length perpendicular to the plane as b, right, and the distance moved in unit time is always u, the velocity. So this will give you the volume per unit time. Per second. I will just, instead of writing per unit time, so this is volume per second. So when I multiply this by mass density, so this is mass by volume is this. This is mass by volume, rho, and this is volume. So this product now will give me mass. Okay. Now this mass multiplied by velocity gives me momentum. Now is this point, do you all catch? Do you all catch? So rho b u b dy, this is volume. So the product of this entire thing is mass. And when I multiply this by u, this entire thing is momentum. Now, is this point clear to all of you or not? The only thing you have to understand is about how I got this volume. How this volume is obtained. The other things are simple. Do you all get?
Yes,
You
sir.
get the volume. I have multiplied. This is dy. See, if I had taken a volume here, an element here of thickness dy, So what will be the area? Area is dy into B. This is B. Now, in unit time, how much distance this entire flow will move? It will move by u meters. So that means in 1 second, it will move by u meters, because u is equal to distance traveled in 1 second, distance traveled divided by time, velocity. So when I am saying it is u meters per second, that is u meters in 1 second. So what is the distance traveled in 1 second? It is u meters. So this is the only thing which you have to understand before we proceed further, right? Now, with this background, let us start discussing about this. Now here, what I have done is I have considered two scenarios. One is in the presence of boundary layer. This is one scenario. And the second scenario is in the absence of the boundary layer. And I have determined the momentum in both the cases. Now what we have done is we have done the momentum calculations to start with over a small element of dy. So if I call that amount as dm star with some suffix 1, it will give me the momentum in this element in the presence of boundary layer. Similarly, dm dot 2, dm dot 2 will give me the momentum in a similar element in the absence of boundary layer, right? Now, so those expressions for dm1 and dm2, how they are written, I will show you. Again, I will always use this figure. So in this element, the velocity is u. So the momentum is, this is dm1. That is dm1. How did I get it? I have taken the product of the velocity there, b dy multiplied by rho, so that this will be mass, and multiplied by velocity, right? So this is how I got dm1. Now what is dm1? dm1 is the momentum here only. So if I take the entire section from y is equal to 0 to, I have to consider y is equal to infinity. I have to, because I have to cover the entire flow, which will be y is equal to 0 to y is equal to infinity. So I have integrated it 0 to infinity. Okay, is this clear? Then what I have done, because the total momentum m1 is 0 to infinity of dm, 0 to infinity of which is this. I have divided this integration limits into two parts. One is 0 to infinity, 0 to delta, and delta to infinity. So there is nothing wrong in it. So that is how I got that expression. Right. Next, what I do is I will consider the momentum in the absence of boundary layer. Though there is no boundary layer, still what I do is I will consider a similar element of thickness, again dy, and write the equation. So similar equation, similar expression I have to write. So same thing I have written here for clarity. This and this are same. Only thing is, now we are going to divide it into two parts, 0 to delta as done here. 0 to delta and delta to infinity. So now let me explain this part. See, within 0 to delta, the velocity is u itself when the boundary layer is present. But in the range delta to infinity, if this is edge of the boundary layer, if this is delta, so this is y is equal to delta here, and far away it will be infinity. So in this region, what is the velocity? See, this is how the velocity will be. This is delta. This is u. And what is this velocity? Away from the boundary layer.
U naught.
U naught. So here, for writing this integral, we have written as u naught square. Okay. Now similarly, this expression also, I'll split it in the same way, and this expression is same throughout. There is no difference. The only thing here, what I have written here is, instead of writing u naught square, I can write u into u naught also, because anyhow u will be u naught itself. So for simplicity, I have retained this expression as u into u naught, only for one you have substituted. It doesn't matter. So now the difference of these two, this is in the absence of boundary layer and this is in the presence of the boundary layer. So naturally, M2 will be more than M dot 1. So therefore, the reduction is given by this expression, right? So did you all follow this point? So when once you follow this point, let us proceed further. Now we can also get this momentum is in terms of using the definition of displacement thickness. Now in what way displacement thickness is defined? Displacement thickness is defined as that distance by which the boundary is shifted to account for the reduction in the momentum. So now this boundary is from not here, but it is now from here. This is the boundary. So now what is the opening? Instead of this, whatever it is, now it is only this part. So what is the reduction? The reduction is due to the change in this area. So I can write that reduction in momentum due to boundary layer from the definition of theta is m dot r is equal to rho b u naught square theta, there is no r here, u naught square, because rho b u naught theta is the reduction in the volume. This is the reduction in volume. Reduction in volume. So therefore, when that is multiplied by u naught, I will be getting the reduced momentum. So therefore, this is reduced momentum. Now you equate this to this. So when you equate your rho b gets cancelled, theta will remain here. So divide by u naught square. So now here one u naught will get cancelled with one u naught. So you will be left with u by u naught minus u square by U naught square. Now U by U naught can be taken outside. So you will be left with 1 minus U by U naught. Is this now clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
So shall I proceed to the next? Energy thickness. Now the energy thickness also derived in the same way. I will leave it here. I will not explain. I will just show you and then I will leave it as an assignment for you. Homework. So what you have to do is here, this is what you have to calculate. Mass of the fluid, as we had done earlier, the same thing. Mass is product of rho u b dy. Now what is the expression for energy? Half mass into what? What is kinetic energy? Half m
V square.
velocity square. So use that expression. Half mass velocity square. So proceed exactly in the same lines as we have done for momentum, and you will get this expression. Delta double star is 0 to delta u by u. Actually, this is u by u naught according to our notation. So u by u naught 1 minus u square by u naught square dy, right? So this is work out. Now I will very quickly proceed to the explanation of boundary layer growth along the plate. Now we always consider a flat plate a stationary plate with zero pressure gradient. That is what we have to realize. What is the meaning of zero pressure gradient? You should always know. Every time I need not explain. Dou P by this is the meaning. Dou P by dou x is equal to 0. So that case we are considering. So in this case of pressure plate, this is the leading edge and this is the trailing edge, it is called as. TE means trailing edge, LE means leading edge. So here X is equal to 0. And here X is equal to L. So when such a flow approaches this plate, from this point onwards, the boundary layer starts growing. Now, the boundary layer will be laminar very close to the boundary, leading edge. Then gradually, as you proceed further, the thickness of the boundary layer, delta, increases. What is the equation for delta? We have got it. We got delta is equal to, rather delta by X is equal to, what is that expression? Come on, tell me. Yesterday's class, we had derived. 4.99 R divided by R X to the power of half. So delta R, in other words, delta is equal to I can say 5 by Rx to the power of whole multiplied by X. So as X increases, delta increases. So that is the reason why the boundary layer is starting increasing. So when this Reynolds number also will increase, Reynolds number, what is the expression? Velocity into X divided by mu. Sorry, nu, not mu. Kinematic viscosity. So when X increases, Reynolds number increases. So Reynolds number increases means what is the effect? At higher Reynolds numbers, the flow changes from, come on.
Lambda to turbulent.
So it changes from laminar to turbulent. And there will be a transition. Okay. So this change from laminar to turbulent takes place at a value of Reynolds number, which is given by 3 into 10 to the power of 5 to 5.5 into 10 to the power of 5. Now you can ask me a question. Nobody has asked, but I am asking you. What was the critical Reynolds number which you have studied in your undergraduate course for flow to change from laminar to turbulent?
5,000.
Is it 5,000? Anyone?
4,000.
కోరలు బేరమా 5, 4 అనడానికి? Come on, still one more answer.
2,300.
2,000. 2,300 or 2,000. That is, then you should get it out. Why you are saying, sir, 3 into 10 to the power of 5? The reason is that 2,000 is for the case of flow in pipes. It is not a universal value. For all boundary conditions or for all boundaries or for all systems, the critical Reynolds number is not fixed. So in case of a flow past a plate for the boundary layer to change from laminar to turbulent, the range of critical Reynolds number is 3 into 10 to the power of 5 to 5.5 into 10 to the power of 5. Normally, the lower value is taken 3 into 10 to the power of 5. So if the Reynolds number exceeds 3 into 10 to the power of 5, the flow is in the boundary layer is no more laminar. It tends to become turbulent. When the Reynolds number is greater than 5.5 into 10 to the power of 5, it is surely turbulent. So there is only a slight transition range. Now here transition means it is not the distance, it is with respect to time. So sometimes the flow will be laminar and sometimes the flow will be turbulent in that range. So continuing our discussion, so you will have laminar where the velocity profile is parabolic. This is a parabolic velocity distribution. Now this velocity distribution you have derived flow past a plate without zero pressure gradient. So the same thing you will get, similar expression you will get. Now, when it becomes turbulent, the velocity distribution is no more parabolic, but it is logarithmic, or maybe power law it is called as. In turbulent flow, we have two types of velocity distributions, logarithmic profile and turbulent power law. Now, if you consider the turbulent region, this is the entire flow where the flow is turbulent within the boundary layer, and here it is laminar. Now, even in the case of turbulent boundary layer, if you consider a zone very close to the boundary, this is your plate, this is your plate. Now here, if you consider this zone, what is the velocity here? 0. Definitely it is 0. And velocity here is some finite value. So that means there is still a velocity gradient in this range. That means dV by dy is not equal to 0. This is close to the boundary. Very close to the plate. Now, away from the plate, the value of dV by dy reduces. Almost negligible. Very much less than 1. So, you have predominant shear stresses, viscous stresses in a zone very close to the plate. So, where the flow is still laminar. So, therefore, it is called as laminar sublayer. In turbulent flow, also there will be a layer in which the flow is still laminar. So, that is called as the laminar sublayer. So, this is how the growth of boundary layers takes place along a plate. So, this is what I have shown there, same thing. So, what are the factors that affect formation of turbulent boundary layer? Turbulence in the ambient flow. Suppose if the incoming flow is turbulent itself, then naturally the boundary layer flow will also be turbulent. And suppose the surface is rough, the rough leading edge hastens transition from laminar to turbulent. That means very quickly the flow will become turbulent. Within no distance, the flow will become turbulent, starting from the leading edge. Then positive pressure gradient. Suppose now we are saying dP by dx is 0 or dP by dx is negative. So, if when dP by dx is negative, it is natural. The flow will take place and the possibility of boundary layer formation will be less because there will be acceleration. Because dP by dx is negative means there will be increase in velocity. Sorry, the other way. When dP by dx is positive, what does it mean? It is a diverging boundary. I will show you. I think I have got that figure. Yes. See, okay, let me first say. So, if there is a positive pressure gradient, then critical Reynolds number will be lower because at lower values of Reynolds number itself, the flow will become turbulent. Now, let us look at this situation. Now, this is a boundary. This is a normal flat plate which you have considered, and this is what I have shown, uniform flow, and then this is the boundary layer. So, the effect of this boundary layer is to induce a shear stress. Right? Now, let us consider a boundary like this. A boundary like this. Now, what is happening here? Up to this point, there is no change in the area of flow. same area of cross section is there. But when once we come here, from this area, it is increasing. So if you recall your Bernoulli's equation, when flow is taking place like this, when you take 2 points, 2 sections 1 and 2 here, at which section the velocity will be more and at which section the pressure will be more. From your basic concepts of fluid mechanics and Bernoulli's equation. Velocity V1, I am calling it as V1 and V2 velocities, average velocities. And pressures P1, P2. Now tell me which symbol I had to put. Is this symbol or is this symbol? Similarly here, which is correct?
V1 greater than V2.
V1 is greater than V2. Right. So what is P1 and P2? How do you compare?
Less than.
Huh?
Less than.
What is P1 less than P2 or P2 less than P1?
P1 less than P2.
P1 less than P2. So that means what is happening here in this case, the velocity is what is happening? Reducing. V1 is greater than V2. So velocity is reducing. That means there is a retardation. There is a retardation. So as a result, what will happen is the velocity you can see here. This is how the velocity reduces. And that means almost it will become zero. The velocity gradient dV by dy and when the boundary is still diverging, more retardation will be there. As a result, the flow will be in the opposite direction at some point. As shown here. So this point where dV by dy is equal to 0 is called the separation or the onset separation. That means the boundary layer will separate from the flow. Now, we have been talking about all this equation which we have derived for delta by x. This is for laminar flow only. So let us try to understand what happens if the flow becomes turbulent. So in case of turbulent flow, as x increases, the Reynolds number also increases. So there is a parameter called as a stability parameter, and it is indicated as chi, which is y squared du by dy divided by nu. So this is what is known as a stability parameter. Let us not discuss how we got this at this stage. So when the stability parameter increases, the boundary layer flow will become unstable. As a result, eddies are formed and the flow becomes turbulent. Eddies means what? This is an eddy. Flow taking place in a rotating pattern. So these are called as eddies. So eddies are formed. Eddies means what? As I told, they will be rotating. So there will be a lot of mixing. So this will lead to more mixing. So when there is a mixing means it is turbulence. So therefore, turbulent resulting in mixing outside the wall region. Outside the wall region means this region. This is the outside wall region. This is outside boundary layer. So here the flow will become turbulent. And because there is a mixing, the velocity in the boundary layer will be more uniform. So velocity distribution will no more be parabolic as in the case of laminar boundary layer. It will be either in the form of a power law given by this or a logarithmic law. So normally the value of m changes from 1 by 6 to 1 by 10. And for most of the practical cases, it is 1 by 7. So this is called as 1/7 power law. One-seventh power law. Okay. Now, in the case of laminar boundary layer, we got delta by x. I am using only the approximate value. Whereas in the case of turbulent boundary layer, it is inversely proportional to Rx to the power of 1 by 5. Delta by x is proportional to Rx to the power of 1 by 5. Whereas in laminar boundary layer, delta by x is proportional to 1 by root Rx. Similarly, in the case of laminar boundary layer, we got small cf as 0.624 by Rx to the power of half. Local resistance coefficient. Point 664 root x. Six six four, not 624. Okay, so this is what we got. Whereas now in this case, for turbulent boundary layer, we are not going to derive it, but this is the expression. And for the case of total drag coefficient, we got CD is equal to 1.328 divided by R L to the power of half. This is what we got. This is what we got here. Where CD is F by F by A rho U naught square by 2. So this is CD. Right? So the corresponding expression here for turbulent boundary layer is this one. And this is valid in this range of Reynolds numbers. Flowing boundary layer will be turbulent for almost entire length of the plate from the leading edge. So normally in this range of Reynolds numbers, for RL slightly greater than 5 into 10 to the power of 5, appreciable fraction of upstream part of the plate will be laminar, leading to decrease in drag. So for such a case, this equation is suggested. CF is equal to 0.074 RL to the power of 1 by 5. This is for turbulence. For laminar, it is only R L to the power of half. So when 1 by 5 is there means it is turbulent. So 0.074 by RL to the power of 1 by 5 minus A by RL, where A is given like this, right? So all the results for this turbulent boundary layer are more based on the experimental findings. So this coefficient, but we can derive these things also using higher concepts that we'll see later. So, so I already showed you that in the case of turbulent boundary layer also, there will be a region where the flow is still laminar and it is called as laminar sublayer. Let us discuss about that. Even in case of turbulent boundary layer, the flow in the immediate vicinity of the boundary possesses characteristics of laminar flow, while away from the boundary, the flow will be turbulent. This layer is referred as laminar sublayer and its thickness is denoted by delta dash. Now, in the laminar sublayer, the logarithmic distribution is not applicable and the velocity varies parabolically because the flow is laminar. So therefore, the velocity distribution within the laminar sublayer will be parabolic. Further, the parabolic velocity distribution can be approximated with linear variation since delta dash will be very, very small. Because if you consider like this is parabolic. And this is linear. Hello? I will have a break. So it will not be logarithmic distribution, but it will be parabolic, and that parabolic is can be replaced by a straight line. So the expression for delta dash is given in terms of the kinematic viscosity mu, the mass density rho, and the shear stress at the boundary. Tau naught is shear stress. Okay, there is a problem in writing. So this is what is called as shear velocity. You just look at this expression. So square root of tau naught by rho. You substitute the dimensions and find out the dimensional formula for square root of tau naught by rho. All of you do this while I will come back. So what is the dimensional formula for this tau naught by rho? Under root. All of you work it out. I will be back within 10 minutes. Resume. Do you have you all followed what has been explained so far? Have you all followed? Come on, someone respond. A very, very important equation which of lot practical application. This is called as integral momentum equation. Now you consider the flow past a boundary layer. Now what we have, I will draw. This is a plate. Okay. And the flow is taking place like this. So as a result, there will be a boundary layer formation. This is all boundary layer. Now what I have done is, I have taken a part of the boundary layer flow and expanded it here. That means I have increased the scale and just showed for a better understanding. Okay, so this is that figure. So this is your plate and this is how flow is taking place. And this is the edge of the boundary layer. So within this, the velocity will be u. And here the velocity is all above this. So the velocity is u naught. Okay. Now, what happens for the flow? If I take a small element of length delta x located at some distance x, from the leading edge. Leading edge is somewhere here. So x is equal to 0. And the last edge somewhere here it is x is equal to L. Okay. Now, in this case, when I consider an element here of length dA delta x, the flow is entering through this section and it is leaving through this section. So, flow enters through AB flow enters through AB and leaves through CD. This is CD. This is CD. And this is AB. Right? Now, when we consider the force of resistance, the force of resistance is the fluid is equal to the fluid force on the control volume. This is the control volume. ABCD is the control volume. So we can write Newton's second law, rate of change of force is equal to rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. That is the momentum of the flow leaving CD, that is momentum over CD, minus momentum over AB. So this is what we can write. Now, this is one way of writing the force. Now we can also write the force of resistance in terms of the shear stress tau naught. This stress is equal to tau naught. And what is the area over which this stress is acting? If I consider unit length, this area is 1 into delta x. So this is area. So what is force? Force is equal to stress into area of flow. Stress is tau naught and area is delta x into 1. So when we consider unit width, it will become simply tau naught into delta x. So this is one way and this is the second way. So what we do is we write this momentum over DC and momentum over AC and find the difference and equate it to this. So that is what we are going to do in the next stage. Now look at this. All of you make a note of this. Copy down in your notebooks. I will explain. I had taken tau naught. This is acting in the opposite direction. So the force on the fluid is acting, the flow force of resistance is fluid force is acting in this direction. So when we equate these two, we have to use a minus sign. So I have used minus sign here. because this is the force on the plate is tau naught dx and force on the fluid is minus tau naught dx. Now that is equal to, now look at this. Momentum. See, this is one exit, this is one outlet, and this is the inflow. The inflow takes place for this control volume through this as well as through this part also. So flow is entering like this. Flow is entering like this. So therefore, there will be momentum not only on this surface AB and on this surface CD, but also on BC. So this part also will be there. So that is what I have written there. So this is momentum on CD. This part is CD. This part is AB. And this part is BC. Now, CD and AB CD and AB are below the edge of the boundary layer. So the velocity varies here and here. So there will be a velocity distribution like this. There will be a velocity distribution like this. But whereas here, it is U naught. Here also, it is U naught. So in the region above the boundary layer, the velocity is constant. So when we are writing the expression for momentum, if you recall what we have written, it is rho into, momentum is always rho into velocity square width and the thickness. So this is the general expression, right? So when we are writing CD, at CD, the velocity is U2. At AB, if I take same Y, see if I take any Y, here it is U2, whereas here it is U1. Both are of course functions of Y only. So they are represented as U1Y and U2Y. So therefore, when we are writing the velocities, we have to use appropriate suffixes. Here I have used U2 and here I have used U1. Now coming to this part, in this part, what is the momentum? Again, we use the same thing. Rho velocity square. What is the velocity of flow? It is always u naught. So u naught square B is 1. Thickness. What is this thickness? The thickness is delta 2 minus delta 1. So that is how here see CD is the outflow. It is the movement of the fluid leaving the control volume, and we had write M2 minus M1. So M1 is this. This is the entering fluid. So therefore, M2 is this. M1 is this entire thing. This is M1. So therefore, if we just simplify it, after taking into consideration the continuity equation, see, by conservation of fluid mass, that means the continuity equation, any fluid entering the control volume must also leave the control volume. See what is happening here? We are having two sections. This is AB and this is CD. Now flow is entering like this and leaving like this. I'm sorry. And here also the flow is entering. With a velocity u naught. Here the flow is entering with the velocity u1y. And here it is leaving with the velocity u2y, where y is the distance considered at any over a small strip of dy. So what we write is, we will write the continuity equation. So if I take this, the mass can be written as rho times u times the width. Okay. So at CD, what is the mass? Rho into, of course, thickness. This is volume, this is density, so that the product will give you mass. So rho times, what is the velocity here? U2. And what is B here? 1. We have taken unit width. And dy. We are taking a small element. So that is the mass of fluid leaving at through CD at a at a distance y through a strip of thickness dy. So what is the total mass that leaves from C to D? We have to integrate it. Integrate it within the limits. Y is equal to 0 here. And what is y here? This is the edge of the boundary layer. That is delta 2 here. The thickness of the boundary layer is considered as delta 2 here. So 0 to delta 2, 0 to delta 2, U2 dy. Of course, one is there. That is the mass of fluid leaving the control volume through CD. Similarly, what is the mass of the fluid entering the control volume? That is here rho is there here and there also. Rho is there here also. Okay, rho U1 dy. And what is the integrated sum? 0 to delta 1. So this is leaving and this is entering. But in addition to this, mass is entering through this also. So what is that mass? This is that mass. So that means, actually, if I take this other side, this plus this is the mass entering, and this is the mass leaving. So therefore, what we get is rho will be cancelled throughout. So I will get this expression. Now you take A and B. So from A and B, substituting for delta 2 minus delta 1, U naught, so this will become, one U naught will be absent, and in its place you will get these two. So this is what you get. Okay. Now simplify. If you simplify, you get this expression. So minus tau naught delta x is equal to 0 to delta 2 rho u2 square minus u naught u2 dy minus 0 to delta 1. You are having two integrals. See, this is one integral within limits 0 to delta 1. So this is combined with this. This is another integral 0 to delta 2. So this is combined with this. So here what you are having is u2 squared, and this is one u naught is here. Don't forget. So this is rho u naught square. So rho u naught, one u naught is cancelled because u naught delta 2 minus delta 1 we have substituted. So rho u naught will be there, which will get combined with this. So it will be u naught u2 with a minus sign because it is having a minus sign here. So that's how we got this term here. Similarly, when I combine these two, this and this, again, this is a minus sign, minus minus plus it will be. So therefore, it will become minus minus plus. So u naught u1. One u naught will be remaining. So here you will have rho u naught. So rho u naught u1. So this will rho u naught u1. So this is the simplification. Now, have you all followed up to this? If you follow up to this, the next step is simple. Is there any doubt? Now, you look at this. This is one integral. This is another integral. And what are the terms inside? This is u2 square, u naught u2. This is u1 square, u naught u1. Now what we have done is we have taken a small element of length delta x. Now if I take delta x approaches to 0, then what I can write, replace this delta x by dx. When delta x becomes small and small, I can replace delta x by dx. And this entire thing I can write as the differentiation of rho u square minus u naught integral 0 to delta dy. That means what I have done, these differences are written in terms of derivative. So this is what we can do. So if I do that, I will get this expression. Minus tau naught dx, it will be retain as it is. That rho will become, come to the front outside the derivation as well as integration. And it is the difference of u2 square minus u2 u naught and u1 square minus u1 u naught. Integrate over 0 to delta 2 and 0 to delta 1. So that is replaced simply writing a d value here. Okay. I want back because we are going to close the session. We have come to the end. Have you all followed? Shivaji coming back. All of you send message, feedback message. So this is what we get. This is the expression we got. Now what I do is I'll simplify this by absorbing this minus sign here, so that this will become minus and this will become plus. And what I do is I will introduce a u naught square here. So when I have introduced a u naught square here, I have to take a u naught square inside. Because u naught is constant, I can take it inside the derivative as well as inside the integration. So when I perform this, this will become rho u naught square. So that is what I have written here, rho u naught square. And this dx is brought here. And this derivative is taken outside and it is written as d by dx. And this integration is written as integral. So when I divide this u square by u naught square, this will become u square by u naught square. So, and this will become u by u naught. So I will be left with u by u naught minus u square by u naught square. So if I take u by u naught outside common, it will become u by u naught into 1 minus u by u naught. So this is what I get. Tau naught is equal to now you realize what is this? Sorry.
Momentum thickness.
This entire thing is theta, momentum thickness. So therefore, what we can write is tau naught is equal to rho u naught square d theta by dx. So this is what is called as von Karman integral momentum equation. Von Karman is the scientist who has developed this equation, and this equation is known after him, von Karman integral, because it explains you about the momentum thickness and its integration. So it is called as integral momentum equation. So if all of you have followed this, I will be closing for today, and we'll resume our discussions of AFM again on Monday, usual time 3 to 5. Okay. I will leave this slide, this particular slide displayed, so that you all copy this, and we'll be continuing on this path, practical application of momentum equation for certain velocity distributions. So these problems we will be working. Okay. We'll take one velocity distribution, this velocity distribution. This is a parabolic distribution, and we'll try to get the displacement thickness, momentum thickness, energy thickness, everything. We'll try to get everything. Okay. Now, so this is the slide which I wanted you to copy down, this equation. And all these things. See here, this is not there. It's a typing error. The same thing in non-dimensional form, the first three equations are written here. Delta star, theta and delta double star in dimensional form, defining eta is equal to y by delta for given u by u naught. So these are the three equations. So note down these three equations and these three equations along with this expression. And this expression. Right? Have you all noted? Okay.